Brad's here.
Brad,
Here.
Oh, sorry. Steve's here.
okay.
Here.
Chris,
Here.
Shanda,
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Approval of minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any deletions, changes, discussion? Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Financial update.
Good morning. Oh, there we go. Good morning, Commissioners. Jeremy Ludlam, Parks Director. The normal financial update we give at this monthly time. I talked to Christy, and because of the new accrual accounting system, they're still entering everything for December. And we talked about it, and she could have given you an update, but it would have been incomplete, and it would have created more work for her at a busy time where they're already going. So I hope it's okay. Made the decision that we said we'll just bring the financial statement for December and for the entire year of 2026 next month, when finance has a little better time to get that under wraps. But I did also hand out the financial position for the master plan, and just to look at that, to show where we're at and where we sit right now. I also did just email that to Mr. Kemp and Mr. Hinchin, just so they had it as well. Just to show you kind of where we're tracking and where we're looking. You know, we have $35 million in that account and in that fund, and the goal of trying to keep it under, don't need to spend all of it because there's other opportunities potentially that we could be. Right now we're tracking that we would be at just under $32 million that we had spent. So we have almost $4 million that right now tracking to stay under budget. But otherwise, financially, if it's okay, we'll present our normal financial statement next month.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy. New business, Ice Derby.
Yep, just want to make sure you guys know about the Ice Derby. We're again partnering with the Williston United Sportsmen. I'm really excited about this event. They just bring it. They bring the volunteers. They do a great job because you know, we've had it the last couple years at Blacktail Dam. It's been really nice because we had an indoor option, but at that time we don't have an indoor option, and with Blacktail partially being under construction, saw it as our opportunity to highlight another park. So we're going to have our ice fishing derby on February 28th in Epping Springbrook Dam. So excited about that. We're gonna bring the volunteers and get the word out, and hopefully have some good weather and have a great day. Moving on under new business, there's a spreadsheet in your packet involving pricing for camping moving forward. The top chart on that spreadsheet kind of shows pricing, what the pricing would cost for X number of nights at different prices. We kind of wanted to look at what that credit card fee, how that affects the pricing. We noticed that isn't, you know, the difference in pricing per night isn't a huge amount, depending on, you know, whether you stay one night or 15. Obviously it's a little bit cheaper if you stay, or excuse me, 13. Obviously a little bit less expensive when you stay longer nights. And that's because there's the My Sites fee, which is $3. It doesn't matter if you stay one night or 13, that's a $3 fee. And then the credit card fee is a percentage, or I think it's $2.50, whichever one's more. So we just put those prices in there just so we had an idea. And then we worked through, we don't want to price out anyone. We really looked around at not just in the state, but region. And then we really kind of based it off of, you know, when we all got said and done, we kind of looked at Lewis and Clark State Park and really didn't want to get higher price than them, wanted to stay in that ballpark. They are a little bit more than what we have listed there. But just real quick, our idea is the current parks that have not had any improvements. So this year, Little Egypt and McGregor would stay the same, which is $10 for a primitive site and $15 for a site with electrical hookups. At Coteray Dam in Blackdale, the individual sites, which they would have water and electric, those sites with hookups, those sites would be $20 a night plus those fees, the credit card fees and the reservation fee. There's two different kinds of group sites. We have a group site at Blackdale, and the group sites at Blackdale include septic, and even though they're both designed for 3 people, they're bigger and then the group sites at Coteray do not have septic. They do have water and electric, but the way they're built, they're a little bit smaller and a little bit, it'd be easy to put 3 44-foot toy haulers at this site at Blackdale. At Coteray, the 3 sites would have to be, you might have to have a couple smaller campers. I don't know if you could put the 3 monsters in there. And then, so that's how we use those kind of things affecting pricing. So on there, you'll see that we raised our pricing from $15 to $20 for sites, and you get for an individual site. And with that now, you now get water where you didn't have before. Otherwise, primitive sites for now, we're going to keep the same. And then we are going to shoot for, as Epping opens up after improvements, as Little Egypt, we want to stay consistent across the board with, if you're staying at Blackdale and your site has this, then you're going to pay the same amount if you're staying at Coteray or Little Egypt and it has the same amenities. So in a nutshell, primitive sites are $10 at the new parks, which is what it's always been. Sites with hookups will now be $20, which has gone up $5, and you now get water. And then the group site, which at Coteray is going to be $50 a night, and then the group sites at Blacktail are $80 a night. Otherwise, if no one has any questions, I'd be looking for a motion to approve those pricing for 2026.
I'd move to approve that fee structure as presented by Jeremy.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it. Brad will
Thank you.
second it.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Discussion? I just have a question on that $80 group. So, I mean, that one person can reserve the group site.
Correct.
And if they want it for 4 nights, that one person pays for 4 nights.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, and one person can pay for all their friends, however you work it out. Yeah, we really looked at could we rent those out individually, and maybe after we live and learn. But this last summer we rented out the group sites at Coteray, as you could only one person rented the whole thing. It worked well. So I mean, we've definitely been one of the main topics, Lindsay, I kind of bounced back and forth, was should each of those individual spots in a group site be rented individually? And we just thought that creates more of a mess. And then all of a sudden you get someone that you don't like, or for whatever reason comes moving in, and you already have just easier if you just rent it as one.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Steve,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Concert in the parks. Item
Uh,
G.
All right, just to give you guys a heads up, we are planning to move forward with concerts in the parks this summer. Epping Springbrook Dam, the plan is that park will be closed for construction, so we wouldn't have any concerts there. And as requested by Game and Fish, since McGregor Dam is a wildlife management area, and they would prefer that we didn't have any large events, and they deem those large events, so they asked that we don't do any concerts there. So we narrowed it down to our 3 parks: Coteray, Little Egypt, and Blacktail. And it's our intention, as long as there's no one has strong feelings otherwhere, to do 2 events at each of those 3 parks. and spread them out through the summer. We've learned that sometimes June is a tough month, so we're going to try to get a little bit into June till we schedule anything. But that's the plan. Two at each event. We are also, excited to have it. That's kind of the plan. So anybody has any questions or concerns about that, that's the direction we're planning on going.
Okay, any questions?
Appreciate the hard work, Jeremy. Thank you.
Okay, master plan implementation update.
All right, we're working hard at the design of Epping Springbrook Dam. We've come across a couple hiccups. The big one has been that through doing the soil samplings and testings throughout the place, we found that very, very little of the land out there meets percolation tests to put in a drain field. So we found one spot we're able to put it in, and we'll plan on putting a restroom and shower house, a comfort station, in that spot where we can put a drain field in. But looks like that's going to be our original plan was to put 2 of those smaller ones and spread them out. But it looks like just the soils won't allow us to do that. So that kind of made a little shift in the direction we were going with how we design things. But we'll plan on putting a new vault toilet in the area where we were going to put a shower house, and then we'll just have one bigger shower house kind of centrally located. Otherwise, we're close. We're close to getting to our final design. There's a timeline in there that shows where we're at and where we're going. Was it 2 weeks ago? The architect got together with us and our whole group and went through the entire plan. Lindsay and myself haven't given full comment back with where we want and the adjustments we'd like to see, but we plan on doing that here in the next week or so. And we plan on moving forward, giving final designs to J.E. Dunn within the next month, and letting them go out and get pricing and get started. So we're getting close there. Moving on, Blacktail plan implementation update. Not a lot has changed as far as the park at Blacktail since we talked last time. Just one thing I wanted to mention is that I am trying to schedule a series of meetings with the Blacktail Dam Association. Kind of my thought is I'd like to try to get 3 meetings in before May 1st. The first one is just to touch base and let them know where we're at, ask them what I'm missing, try to come up with a work plan for how do we accomplish those things that we want to get done. Meet again in 2 to 3 weeks after that, catch up and say, well, this is what we got done, this is what we didn't get done, these are hurdles, whatever. And then I'd like to really try to meet one time with their group before May, before camping season really gets going, and saying, well, where we dropped the ball, what do we still need to do, what can we get done. So working with those guys, I know a couple of them are traveling right now and out and about, so trying to find a time where we can meet with them. I still also hoping that along the way too, that we'll be able to coordinate or organize something where we invite, the community of Blacktail as a whole, as well, to let them know where we stand and what's going on and what they can expect. So then, moving on to the Blacktail Community Building. In your packet, we have some renderings and some plans in there. If you remember back a couple months ago, you got the park board approved that we spend $88,000 to come up with plans and a design, and we've got that and we're there. The plans have gone through the county's approval, building approval. I want to thank all those guys, especially Brandon. Brandon, one of the things about dams is turns out it's the lowest place around, and water drainage really can be an issue there. And I really appreciate Brandon spending time and kind of talking us through and looking for, as he's looked through the plans now at Epping and now with the building plan at Blacktail, Brandon's really gone through and said, hey, this is something you want to look at. This is something that might be a concern. I don't think we have any big red flags, but it's been really nice to have Brandon, a different set of eyes, to be able to say, hey, I wonder where this is going or what's going on with this. So really appreciate him and helping us out. The reason I said that is we had some as he was looking for the site plan for the community building at Blacktail, he didn't have the whole picture for the parks, and he had some questions, and it kind of got started on that path. And I really appreciate his help on that. But anyway, so the Blacktail community building's in there in your packet. Up there on the screen now we have the site plan. So this is immediately west of the shop at Blacktail. So the site plan's there. The plan is that there'd be a pretty substantial parking lot, and then the community building, which fits in with the rest of the site, is through sidewalks and roads and all of that. I hit the next slide. So there's the floor plan of the building, basic floor plan. The main meeting space is about 1,000 square feet. We have just a men's and women's restroom with a chase in between on the left there. To the south, there's a storage room and a mechanical room. They're each a little over 100 square feet. And then on the right-hand side, there's a kitchen. We haven't committed to putting in any specific appliances, like are we going to go with fryers, or how commercial are we going to get with our kitchen? But the plans right now show that east wall, or the wall on the right-hand side, that will be rated for any commercial equipment we need. So if we decide to put in a fryer, or a commercial oven, or whatever it may be, that wall meets up code to be able to do that. And then to the right of the kitchen is a patio. There'll be a serving window there. If you see outside the kitchen, there's a serving window to go outside of the patio, and then also to the left into the main assembly hall. Really kind of the idea of that serving window is, we're thinking crock pots, right? Like plenty of plugins, being able to, people have graduation parties or other events, just plenty of plugins to be able to put in crock pots. Really thinking of, this kitchen is more of a staging area, at least this point, than a cooking kitchen, right? Not saying you can't cook some basic things, but the idea is, if you're going to have an event, it's more like you have space to stage everything. So then, from where this, if you want to head to the next slide, there's one of the views of what it looks like. You can see that the patio area there with that opening. And then if you want to hit the other, I think there's another view there. This would be the view, like if you were standing with the lake at your back and looking up, looking right there. So then if you were standing facing from this view, this stage would be off to your right, the stage for where off to your left. And then the group sites would be right down that way too. You want to hit the next slide. So here's, J.E. Dunn's put together a plan, like how this would be, what the logistics of building this would be. As you can see, access to the site is very easy. Just come in on the front, on the new bypass road we built this last year, and then access the site from there. Assuming we move forward with this, I think the plan would be that early to mid-May, they'd have the site sealed off, fenced off, ready to go, or secured. If you want to hit the next slide, just a little more detail of how the logistics of constructing it would go, and how people would get it out, and where fencing would go. So pretty easy in and out, pretty easy access, not disrupting much else of what's going on, and able to fence off and secure the construction site. I think that is at the last slide. Yeah. So then moving forward, how this works is, or how it can, I should say, it can work. Like I said, you already approved the designs, and that we've got through that phase. Now, as the building was never a part of the master plan, it was an alternate, an addition, something to consider. So as not being part of the plan, it would, if we wanted to, the most streamlined option would be to make it an alternate. Talking to Karen and Helen, it's something similar that we've done that kind of fits this way. If you guys, we would need a action by this board to make that an alternate. If you decided to do that today, it still doesn't mean that you're committing the money to build this building. J.E. Dunn will get pricing, come back to us with the final price, and then at that time you would decide if you accept that guaranteed maximum price or not. So today's decision doesn't mean you can't still say no. Today's decision doesn't mean we're spending any more money on it. It just keeps the process down the line.
So if we were to go with building something like that, is that gonna be, is that qualify for storm shelter too then if it?
I don't believe so, no. But I could ask what it would take to do that. Not a bad idea at all. Mhm. I would think so, yeah.
It's a wood frame building and storm shelter would either need a basement or.
You want to jump up to the mic? We got people on. Sorry.
No, it's all right. This one on here?
You got to push the button. Announce your name. We got to hold it when you.
All right, Ryan Anderson with J. Dunn. A question about the storm shelter. This is a wood frame building, so it's not much different than residential construction. The storm shelter stuff that I've seen in the past is usually precast concrete, and even then, the the roof diaphragm and stuff is really beefed up. So it'd be pretty. And the design for this is done. Jeremy mentioned that the park board had authorized that. So it would be a redesign and it would be quite a bit more expensive.
Yep, I was just curious if it was or not. I mean, not that we, we're gonna throw it in a can and start over, but I was just curious.
Sure.
Okay. What's the wishes of the board? We want to, you're seeking a motion to add it as an ad alternate project.
A motion to make it added as a change order.
Okay.
Brad makes a motion to add it as an ad alternate change order.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Brad,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. Parks update, Little Egypt.
Okay, Little Egypt, just again, I know I've mentioned it before, but it is really, really impressive the number of people that are using the ice access at Little Egypt. It is. I went out there this weekend, and I mean, there were as soon as you cross off the Little Egypt property onto the lake property, there were 12 cars with trailers hooked up that had all brought their side-by-sides down and just parked right there and driven on. And then there are houses everywhere. I mean, there's so many people using that access. It's just been really popular. We got to make sure Carter's done a good job keeping the roads open, clear, so people could access it. But it's been really well used. Just a couple other things I wanted to mention under park updates. Working, and not that it's one of our parks, but working with the whole crew to make paddle fishing go smooth, doing our part to help out. We had our first meeting with that, and for the most part, Parks' role in that is parking and moving people around, shuttle services. So just wanted to mention that real quick, that's one other thing that we are working on. And then also last month I did mention, and we haven't found a date and gotten a price yet, but we are still planning on trying to get the LG Sonic people to come up before we install our buoys into the water at Epping and do a once through on our machines. They're starting to get a little beat up, wear and tear, and their professional knowledge goes a long way as opposed to me sitting on a phone trying to do all that technical work. So working on that, trying to get that scheduled and get them up here to make sure those things are running properly. Otherwise, I think that's all I have.
Okay. Thanks, Jeremy. Anybody else have anything good for park board? Okay. Seeing none, next meeting, February 17th, same time, same place. So thank you. We adjourn 9:48.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank